Welcome, 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 Dr. Rashed. How are you?
Fine, Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I guess it's some early morning for you, and we have wanted to have you in the morning. So, how's everything there? How's the weather there? The first thing that I would like to ask you.
The weather, mashallah, is a little bit hot. It's getting there, but this year, mashallah, it's been it's been great. Till now. Summer has come a little bit late, which is always good, alhamdulillah. But it's good. It's still bearable. Yani we're inside, brother. We are inside the offices and stuff. So AC is on 24/7. Alhamdulillah.
Superb, superb so much. So, as a ritual, I would just like to invite you with a musical chant onto our show, and would love to join you for your tea very soon, someday when I'm there visiting.
Inshallah.
So,
Inshallah.
I would just do that. Amanand Swaroop Jagadeesha Akhilanand Swarupa Isha Mahesha. Welcome to Sadhguru Sadupdesh.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Rashed,
Yes.
I'm very honored that you accepted our invitation to come, for the talk show and grace the show with your presence. The thing that intrigues me always, and I've been a very great follower of your Instagram channels and seeing the stuff that you do. So the first question that I'm going to ask you today is, how come comics?
Well, look, since it's a very strange story, actually, since the very early age, we were one of the first UAE national families that were, my father was sent to England to study, and in England, there was a place called Oxford Street. Obviously, everybody knows Oxford Street. There's a very old comic book store there. It's called Forbidden Planet.
Oh.
And I used to go walk with my father every day, time to go for groceries and stuff like that. And in the window, I would see a Spider-Man comic book. Obviously, I wanted to get it because I was a big fan of Spider-Man since a very young age. Kids, in those days, we had those big, if you remember, big VCRs. It's not like today.
Yeah.
The big ones, the movies were like this. So the first movie I saw, I remember, was Christopher Reeve's Superman. It was, I remember, coming out, I think, in 1977 or 1978. I was still young, obviously. But, I grew up to it. And then Spider-Man, it was a TV movie of Spider-Man, which came out in 1977. But obviously, I watched it later on. I'm born in 1977. So for me, it was, the first two superheroes I was introduced to. So I would go through this, and then I would beg my father to take me in. And it was very strange. There was an older Jewish gentleman there. Okay. And he would feel sorry for me and give me these comic books for free to read, But the book I wanted was like 500 pounds, 500 quid at that time. And my dad would say, no, that book today is worth $3.2 million easily. He wouldn't let me buy it, And, well understandable because it was expensive, even for them, 500 pounds for that book. It was the first appearance of Spider-Man, which is Amazing Fantasy 15. Spider-Man came out in a different book. In the olden days, like Stanley said, they would, put these characters into these other comic books, which were about to be closed down and stuff like that. And Spider-Man became a hit. So, and that's it. I would go back, come back every day, fight with my father. I want to go in. And now we have, and the rest is history. I have over 150,000 books.
Oh my God. So now that's a lot of books. So it all started like a craze, and today you've turned it into a full financial venture. And I would say this is a new financial system in itself. It's like the crypto in the starting when no one believed in all of that, and one day all of them were just wanting it. And this is a new financial system that Dr. Rashed, I must tell all my viewers out there that trust me, after seeing his channels and after listening to his talks right now, I really, really, really contemplate the fact I'm gonna go back home to my old house and start finding all my comic books, because I remember in India in those days we used to read a lot of Nagraj's and Chacha Chaudhary's and Archie's, and those were the days when we would see
Phantom
all.
also.
Yes, all the visuals and all the things. And how come, Dr. Rashid, this ideology struck you, or was it just a normal flow that it happened of entertainment, venturism, becoming an entrepreneur, creating a financial system around comics? Because all my viewers and my friends and all the family out there who's watching, I must say that what this man has created is something you people cannot even imagine. You must visit his Instagram channel, check out all the things down there, and rest, let's hear it from the master himself. So, how come the financial system and the entertainment happened?
Look, I have a bachelor's degree in banking. I have a master's degree. I have a master's degree in marketing, a PhD in philosophy, and minor in psychology. So I didn't really create this. It was always been there in America, but it was a very niche market, So what I did was, in the early ages, because of my love for comics, I went and I started buying these books, from America. I'll tell you a very strange story in a bit. You'll be astonished. You brought up Archie. I'll tell you a story of Archie. So I started collecting from that time. In America, this genre is already there. People already buy and sell and trade. But because of the recent movies, that have taken off, like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, these things have started to come into a lot of value. You have, mashallah, these books are all, the ones that I collect are all World War II books. In the olden days, the American army didn't have anything to do. So they would send them to their meshes, these books, and they would collect them and bring them back after the war, I think in Vietnam and all those things. And some of them have survived. So these are what the valuable things are that I collect, a Superman, my Superman #1, will come to that, and things like that. But what I did was, I saw a niche market. Still till today, no one's really into it. So what I did was, after a long career with the family and other things, the extended family owns many different franchises and other things. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something which I can enjoy. I can do things with my kids. So my kid of 18 years old, I'll tell you how it all started, actually. At about 8 to 9 years ago, my wife was sick and tired of my comic books. I'll be very frank with you. She's like, Rashid, you have comic books under the bed, in the bathroom, I don't know where. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to throw them out. And, I almost got a heart attack. So I got my son. My son came in at that time. He's 18 now. So, you can imagine nowadays the kids, they supersede and extend our thinking, brother. Really, they, mashallah, because of, of the technology and everything else that's going around, they are switched on. The new generation is a generation we need to protect, really. They need to be educated. They need to be set in the right direction, because they are very clever, mashallah. The way they think. So he came to me, he's like, Baba, why you want mama to win? I said, what do you mean by that, Amr? He's like, why you want her to throw your books out? We're having a Comic-Con, which is happening in Dubai. Take a booth and, let's sell a few books. So we did that, and we made, mashallah, good money. So my wife was, she was happy. We made a lot of money in 3 days. So then we were like, what? I'm like, what? We could do this. I can do this, So we started taking part in Comic-Cons, then we became the Meet the Star sponsor, where all the celebrities come down. I would sponsor that, opened up my stores. Now we have our flagship store in City Walk with the vault inside it, where all the big comic books are kept. Big celebrities come down. We are a tourist destination. They come to go to the vault. The vault has the big books like the Superman #1, the Batman books and other things. You have big celebrities that came down. And then we started the coffee shop. Now, mashallah, my wife runs the show, you know. now she is in charge. She started the coffee shop there. She's the director and managing director of operations. Do you see? So but behind every man, successful man, there is a woman. So my wife is the one, mashallah, who's kept, because me, I'm like an artist myself. So I become emotionally attached to things, and I try to overdo things. She keeps me in line. So this is what it is, actually.
That's really beautiful. So basically, it's all coming in from the family and a lot of support. And honestly,
Yes.
it's such a good thing to know that that your son and your wife, they almost initiated you into creating one of the historic places and a very great vault. Because trust me, that is one thing I'm going to come and see there when I'm coming there.
Inshallah.
It is definitely a tourist destination, and everyone watching here right now, please, whenever you're going to visit there, this is the place to be. And once you're inside the vault, I want everyone to click pictures and do post and spread the word, because this thing that Dr. Rashed is doing is something unheard of. He definitely is very modest enough and humble enough to say that it started in the US. But trust me, the way he's doing it, it's the US is left much, much, much behind now, because he's created a full entertainment system out of it, people. Dr. Rashed, I would like to ask you now a very personal question. Has it ever happened to you, like sometimes it has happened with me, that there's a beautiful guitar that I've spent a lot of years onto it, I've nurtured the guitar, created the full sound out of it, and all of a sudden it breaks.
Yes.
So, tearing apart, a very basic child question, tearing off a page, how does it hurt? Has it happened?
It has happened many times to me. It has also, books have been stolen from me, things like that, where it has reached to a stage where I wanted to give it all up, because I started this as a hobby, and I've created, mashallah, I'll talk about it as well. I'll give you an example. We have our own universe. It's called the Khalifa universe. Oh. So what I did was, Brother Sachin, I said, why do we always have to go back and only America and other places, DC, Marvel? Us as Asians, we should have our own superheroes. So I've created the line of superheroes. We'll talk about it later. But coming back to your question, it hurts, brother. Sometimes a customer will come in and you have these books. Let me show you something.
Yes, please. We were waiting for this.
This is the first appearance of Morbius, and some customer comes in, he grabs it and just drops it. Yeah, and then this breaks, right? And it'll crack, and then you'll tell him, boss, you broke this. This is worth money. We have to pay. Oh, what is the book worth? I said the book is worth $10,000, $20,000, $5,000, and he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand, what it's. What it portrays, Then they come in and have these Funko Pops, which are like very, 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 very much, into, people like to collect these things, and they'll come and a little kid will just come in and just tear this open, and then you can't say anything to them. But now we've started putting up signs saying, if you break it, it's bought. You buy it, So yeah.
I guess that's the best sign to put for a comic, at least, because such worthful things, I guess they should be taken care of. I totally relate to you, because this is how an artist always feels. And to be very honest now, I'm very sure at least everyone in the Bollywood or in the music scene that knows me, or the people around us, they're definitely going to make sure that next time at their home, if they have a comic, respect a book. Please respect a book, and always respect a book, because it does not mean it's a comic or it's not a comic. It's something that's engraved on a paper, and that's a living wood.
It's history. It's history.
It's a living wood that people have with them. It's just died. It's a page anymore, but it comes from a living wood. So there's another story to it. And now coming to the most important part of our podcast show, that I don't call it. I call it a TalkCast, because I was so irritated with the word Dr. Rashed podcast. I said, let's make a TalkCast. So nice. God willingly, it has really done well. And when friends like you, all of you, come on the show, it really makes us happy. Which is your favorite comic?
It has to be, Sachin, I didn't think about it. I should have brought it and showed it to you. Maybe we can have a part 2 sometime later. And I'll show
100%,
you.
definitely. We can have 100 of parts with you.
I'll show it to you. I have, I'll rephrase the question. I have 5 favorite superheroes and 5 favorite books that, is the holy grails of books. So you have an Action Comic 1, which is the first appearance of Superman. Okay, so you see Superman, and then you have Superman #1. So Superman didn't first be introduced in Superman 1. He was introduced in Action Comics 1. A lot of people don't know these things, right? So Action Comics 1, that's the book I told you got stolen. That book is worth maybe about easily at that time about $2 or $3.2 million. That's a different story. I had a hunting accident and I went into a coma, and the guy who had my books just disappeared on me in London. But it's karma, we'll get to. I don't want to get into those things. But Action Comics 1, Detective Comics 27, first appearance of Batman, Superman #1, Batman #1, Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider-Man. So these 5 books are the books that any collector wishes to have. It's like your Ferrari Enzo or your your Ford GT Cobra. This is the creme de la creme. Like the 5 top books in the world, I would say, as for me. So I'm a big Superman fan because Superman gives you hope. Even the sign means hope. The S means hope. So my favorite book has to be in my collection. I have a book, by the way, I'll show it to you later on. I've never shown it to anybody live. I will show it to you. It's a book signed by both the creators of Superman, and it's graded, so it's priceless. It's the only one in existence in the world. I have it. Don't tell me how much. Don't ask me how much I paid for it. But want an arm and a leg. But that book is, mashallah. It's something I will show it to you. Maybe one day we can just come on and I'll bring on we can do something else where I bring a few books and I can show you, those things. Like even Funko Pops, brother. I have some stuff signed by Robert Downey Jr. and the co-creator of Iron Man. We sell them for big amounts.
Wow, that is so brilliant to hear. And honestly, listening to so much knowledge, it's like a full PhD, Dr. Rashed. It's like a full PhD on comics, I must say, because it's more of collections and it's a life that you're
collectibles.
It's like it's a full science behind it, and the knowledge that you have, it's like we can keep listening to you. But I know you're also busy and there's a lot of time constraint to you. So just before going, we're going to ask you 1 or 2 last questions. The second question, please shed some light on the character that you created. Can we know more about that?
So the few things that I wanted to create, because of this world that we live in at the moment, brother, I wanted to make sure it's accessible to everyone. So at our store, we even accept crypto. People come to our store and buy in crypto, can buy anything digital. We're moving towards that. So we created a bunch of characters. One of them is called Khalifa. Inspired by our former ruler, God bless his soul, Allah Rahmah, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed. We are proud Emiratis, and our rulers are, alhamdulillah, the best in the world. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Hamdan bin Muhammad, Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed, and all the rulers. They've given us the opportunity to do anything that you want in the UAE, and that's why the UAE, mashallah, has flourished the way it is. Our rulers, even expatriates, they don't consider themselves expatriates in the UAE. If you ask any Indian or any Pakistani, you'll say, I'm from Dubai. He says, in Hindi, you say, Dubai wala. This is what it is. In the olden days, we used to only do business with India. Even our currency was the Indian rupee, Dubai rupee. Before the United Arab Emirates became the United Arab Emirates. So we have a very good relationship with Pakistan and India and these places. India even more, because we watch the Bollywood movies and those kind of things. Yeah, I've been watching those movies every day. I remember it was called Channel 33. Thursday, the whole family would sit down in front of the TV. It's not like now you have these, TV on demand and stuff. We don't have those things in those days. But we know all the names, Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan, and these people are actually our heroes, and we get inspired by these kind of people, But coming back to our thing, Khalifa is a story of an orphan who goes to an orphanage, and then later on his life, he builds up, and becomes a superhero. But what I did was I thought about it, like I was telling you. Why do we have to go back to Marvel and DC and this and that? So what I did was I thought about it, sat down with my team. I'm like, you know what? Us as Asians, we are almost more than 80% of the population of the world. So almost 2 billion people in India, almost 2 billion people in China, us almost 10 to 11 million, Saudi Arabia 30, 40 million, Egypt about 80, 100 million. I said, you know what? I'm going to create characters thinking and putting the demographics in mind. So I have a character who's half Emirati, half Indian. I have a character who's half Saudi, half Chinese, to grab all the demographics. And it's a superhero story. I have my own pet, which is a dog. He's called Luke Kaboom. He's also a comic book. And then we have Rooster. His name is Deco. He's also a comic book. And we have released his books, by the way. They're being sold on Amazon and they're sold out. Alhamdulillah. Now we're working towards their animation. We're working actually with an Indian company to do our animation for them, and then have voiceover actors. I have good friends who are well-known voiceover actors, and I've requested them to voice my characters. Very soon, inshallah, we'll be releasing all this information about our universe, but gets us to do something, Brother Sachin, no? Our kids nowadays, they're doing, many things. But if you get their mind into these things, that's why all my family, my eldest son is the CEO of the company, of my company. My daughter, I put her in marketing. She's about 15 years old. My other son, Ahmed, he's about 11. I let him, he claims he's the deputy CEO of the company and, and goes around and stuff like that. But, you need to keep your family close, brother. In this day and age of all the stuff happening around the world, I feel our culture and our morals are being tested by the Western world and other places. Our culture as Emiratis, Indians, Pakistanis, Asians, we have a certain way we do things. It's very different. That's why we have survived. So put that into the comic book. The culture is being relived in these books.
This is so good to hear, Dr. Rashed, that apart from doing so much of business and so much of other things, I must say to the viewers that he is a true family man, because when it comes to culture and keeping family together, a great father, a great husband, and a great son. I guess he's all in one people, and you can see that from his talks, the way he's speaking. And Dr. Rashed, this is very true that today's generation is actually doing a lot of things. And this listening to your thing that your store is also into cryptos and comics and a lot of other things. We at Sadhguru Sadupdesh have also now diverged into a Web3 metaverse where we are going into a meditative space, bringing the world's first meditation setup onto blockchain. So a lot of things we really get inspired by talking to people like you, because it's a lot of opportunities to learn so much more, learn and have the knowledge. And just while speaking to you right now, I thought that why not have a meditative comic aspect also in my thing, because there's so much new ideas. And to tell the viewers again, the real thing over here, Dr. Rashed is one person from the talks, you must have seen all of it, that who is not concerned only about money. I want everyone to understand, listening to his talks, I can feel it is not about just money. It's not about just finance. It is about the cult he wants to create. So, Dr. Rashed, before going, would you like to give one message to all our viewers in Bollywood, India, worldwide, on Sadhguru Sadupdesh, on the meditative circle? One advice from you, or one suggestion, or any one last thing before, because I don't feel like leaving this talk. It is so much, interesting, but definitely your time and time is a constraint. So, one last advice from Dr. Rashed, and after that we are going to take his time for another episode soon, people.
Well, I used to. I'll reply back with kind of a question back to you. Okay. In 2010, I attended the CGI, the Clinton Global Initiative. I was voted to be one of the next 40 world leaders at that time. And I met Bill Clinton, the President of America, and some other well-known people were there. You know, all the who's were there. And I asked them a question, you know, and I'll ask you guys the same question. So this is the advice I'm giving you. So I asked him, I said, you know, Mr. President, I said, I'm going to go back home. Is there anything that you can tell me? We have people like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all those people there as well. And we were all there standing. And I'm like, can you guys give me anything that I can take home with myself? You know, so they asked me a question. They're like, young man, at that time, you know, I don't know if I'm that young anymore, but I was at that time a bit more younger, you know, in 2010 we're talking about, you know, they're like, would you rather be 90% owner of $1 million company or 5% owner of $1 billion company? So I thought to myself, you know, I'm like, wow, you know, I'm like, yeah, 5% owner of $1 billion company, you know. So you know, my advice is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always try to diversify, you know, invest into crypto. Very soon, even the rupees, if you guys are there, collect these old rupees and they're going to become collectibles, you know, get them graded, you know, and these kind of things. Invest into music. Music is by itself a genre, you know, which brings happiness to people. You know, invest into sports. Invest into yourself. Very important. You know,
very important.
You know, you don't have to be this or that or a champion or something, but you know, once you have a routine set in, right, you will start feeling better. I mean, for some time, because of an injury I had because of martial arts and stuff like that, I have not been training a lot, but I've come back to training now. I've gained a lot of weight, by the way. But the thing is, it's all muscle memory. It all comes back to you. You know what I'm trying to say? So what you need to do is, to the viewers out there, start something small. And something, you know, that I believe in is don't stop dreaming. You have to dream. Because if you do not dream, you can't reach your goal. So if someone tells you don't dream, don't listen to them. You need to dream. Yes, you need to dream. And then you have a goal. So once you dream, Allah or Bhagwan or you know, whoever you believe in, at the end of the day, it's all the same, will show you the way to get to that goal. Create a roadmap, create goals and milestones and small wins, brother. Small wins are very important in one's life. Once you get up, you complete something, you know, put it a tick. Feel good about yourself. I do a lot of manifestation, by the way. I do theta healing. You know, I do all this kind of stuff. It's a story for a different day. My horse, by the way, ran in the Dubai World Cup and came third in 2007. And it was a journey of manifestation of how I manifested by Allah's grace to you know, to get there. So it all starts with a dream. And you know, Bob Layton, one of the co-creators of the allure of Iron Man, told me something once. He's a very close friend. He created War Machine and he created the Ant-Man. That movie was out recently. He's like, Rashid, you know that little boy with the red balloon? Never let it die. Always have that dream. So to all your viewers, brother, and anybody else watching this, always dream. Even impossible is spelled I am possible, brother.
So
okay,
so true.
You know, so that's advice that I would like to give the people.
Thank you.
Never give up on your dreams.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Rashed, for today's your time. And definitely, I'm going to ask for another time very soon. In the meanwhile, people, this episode is going to be live very soon. By the time you'll be watching it, it will be live. So share, comment, follow Dr. Rashed's Instagram ID. Everything is going to be down in the description. So let's make the world a happy place. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Rashed. Thank you for
Thank
being a
you.
Sadupdesh.
Thank you. Assalam.